Hello and welcome to another video. So this is going to be a reading vlog and I have decided, kind of for reasons best known to myself, to do a 24 in 48 hour readathon. So I'd say there's some logic to this. There isn't really. I don't know why I'm doing this. Today is Friday. I don't work on Fridays, which is fun. So it is currently 12:49. I don't know if you can see that. So it is 10 to 1 on Friday. My plan is I'm going to try and read for 48 hours. So up until 1 p.m. on Sunday. This vlog needs to go live on Sunday, so I really do need to stop by then. But within that time, I want to see if I can do 24 hours of reading. There's some maths going on here. So I'm going to have a timer going and I'm going to stop it when I'm not reading. And again, I'm going to be realistic with this. I'm going to stop it when I'm no longer doing reading as an activity. If I've just got up to go and get a drink and then I sit back down again, I'm not going to stop the timer for like 2 seconds. You know, I am still in the reading activity. So I'm going to try and be doing 24 hours worth of reading in the next 48-hour period. So it is this weekend. I'm a Patreon of Becca from Becca and the Books, and it is her 24-hour Patreon readathon. So she has got sprints from 7 p.m. tonight up until midnight, and then I think from 12 till 7 tomorrow. So that's about 12 hours worth of sprinting that I can get in, which is awesome because I'm clearly going to need it. So I've got to find another 12 hours, plus I still need to sleep and, you know, do everything else that I need to do. But we're going to see what I can manage. The books that I'm going to be reading this weekend. So I'm currently reading The Gilded Cage by Lynette Noni. This is the second book in the Prison Healer series. I'm really enjoying it. I'm not a huge amount of the way in. I am 47 pages in. I really loved The Prison Healer. I was really surprised how much I enjoyed it. So I'm looking forward to being able to get to this one. I also am reading Sylvia Day, So Close. So this one is a book that I got through Tandem, but I'm taking part as a participant. So I'm looking forward to this one. This one I've heard mixed reviews of from the girls on the team. Some people have liked it. Some people have been a little bit shocked, let's say, at the level of the smut. I think I'm going to be all here for the level of smut. It is, I believe, a mafia romance. Yeah, I think it's a sort of mafia romance. The synopsis makes me think of that movie, I think it is, on Netflix called 365 Days, which basically the plot of that is this guy kidnaps this girl and makes her fall in love with him he's like, I'm going to keep you for a year and you will fall in love with me. And it kind of makes me think of that because there does seem to be some sort of like kidnappy stuff going on. Actually, it might not be kidnapping. Anyway, I think it might be a mafia romance, but whatever it is, it's very dark and I'm looking forward to it. I'm also going to read 5 Survive by Holly Jackson. So this one takes place over a course of a certain amount of hours, 8 hours. I was thinking that I would read this like an hour at a time, but I think actually I'm going to just sit and binge it because I don't think it's going to take me 8 hours to read this book because it's not huge. It's just under 400 pages. So that one is going to be my binge. I think I'm going to read that one tomorrow. And then the 2 other books that I want to try and get read are The Secret Service of Tea and Treason by India Holton and 1,000 Boy Kisses by Tilly Cole. These 2 are books that I am working on, so I'm not going to be giving sort of full reviews on these ones because I'm being paid to work on them. Whereas So Close, I'm not being paid to work on this one. This is one I'm taking part in as a participant, as a creator, so I will be giving you a full review on that one. So they are my reading plans for the weekend. I am going to set my timer. Let's get that going. So my 24-hour timer, and I'm going to press start, and I'm going to start reading, and I will catch up with you in a bit. Hello, it is now 4 o'clock and my timer is saying there's 21 hours and 22 minutes left, which means I've been reading for like 2.5 hours. I've just been reading The Gilded Cage and I'm up to page 246, so I've read about 200 pages. I'm about halfway through. I'm really enjoying it. This series, I feel, is very underrated. And if you like your kind of YA, I guess like a YA political fantasy, with, yeah, I think this is a really, really good series. Like I said, it's a series that I kind of was like, oh, it's going to be quite YA, but actually I've absolutely loved it. I haven't started any other book. I have got a sleepy pup. She's just sort of collapsed a little bit, right all over the edge. Every now and then she half falls off the sofa, which I think is hilarious. Bracken doesn't agree with my hilarity. Yeah, it's 4 o'clock, so I don't know what I'm going to do. I might stop reading now for like an hour or so, clean the kitchen, start making dinner. I sort of need to go to the shop. First 2 hours, 2.5 hours. What did I say I was doing on earlier? It's going to be like 2.5 hours. Down, doing good. Yeah. Becca's sprint start at 7:30 tonight, so that's in like 3.5 hours. It would be awesome if I could. I want to try and get a good chunk more of this read before tonight, and we'll see what we're doing then. She's moved and come for cuddles over next to me now. Hello, boo boo, little one. Oh hi, oh hi. You're all upside down. Oh, she's very snuggly. Right, well, I'm going to, I don't know what I'm going to do. What was I deciding? If I'm this, like, undecisive and just mad 2 hours in, what am I going to be like when I'm 22 hours in? Anywho, I'm going to, go and just clean the kitchen. I really do need to clean the kitchen. It is disgusting. I'm not going to show you it. It is embarrassing. But I'm going to pause my time for a little bit and Hello, it is 8:15. I have, where's my timer gone? I've got 19 hours left, so I've been reading for 5 hours. I've finished The Gilded Cage. It's so good, honestly. This series is so good. I haven't put it through corporate or anything yet, but I think it's probably a 4.5. I don't think it's quite 5-star territory. Might be. It's a very high 4.5, if not a 5. But yeah, really, really enjoyed this one. It's so, so, so good. Highly recommend the Prison Healer series if you haven't read it yet. But on to the next book. We've got like 4 hours of reading left. I'm going to start reading So Close by Sylvia Day. I'm going to just read you out the synopsis because I don't really know what it's about on my description earlier where I said it was a mafia romance but then realised it might not be. I realised that was just bad. So I'm just going to read you the synopsis. The one you believe isn't always the one you can trust. Widower Kane Black remains ruinously married to his late wife Lily. Grief has hollowed him until he sees a woman with his wife's inimitable beauty on Manhattan streets. He whisks her up to his towering penthouse, protectively guarded, nestling her in dark opulence where Lily's memory is a possessive, beguiling force. Alaya, Kane's mother, deals in science. There are too many questions, too few answers about Lily, and too much at stake. Lily has dangerous control over Kane, and there can only be one queen on this family's throne. Amy, Kane's sister-in-law, has been bloodied by deceit and betrayal, and she's devolving into a murderous rage. She's paid too high a price and now intends to claim what she's owned. 3 women linked by buried secrets circle the man who unquestionably accepts the return of his beloved long-dead wife. Yet Cain is happier than he's ever been, and he'll do anything to stay that way. So, yeah, I'm to me, it's given me massive 365 days vibes. And I think it sounds like it is some sort of mafia romance, but it might not be actually mafia. But yeah, I'm actually excited to start this. I do hear the smut is smutty, but I'm excited. I will come back when we get to the good. Hello, it is 11:45. Let's try and get my phone to work. Can you see that? 11:45, and my timer says I have got 15 and a half hours left on my 24 and 48 reading thing, whatever the fuck it is I'm doing. I'm about halfway through So Close. So far we have not had the sex that I was expecting. I was expecting it to be filthy. I mean, there's been a few sex scenes, but nothing that's like as filthy as I was expecting. I'm really enjoying Amy. She is an awful person, and I'm just enjoying her. Lily, I don't understand her. So basically, I should probably start at the beginning, shouldn't I? So we're following this guy, Cain, who is very sexy. That's all I get of him, really. His wife, Lily, died 6 years ago. However, he's just seen her on the street and she's come back into his life. So we don't know what happened. And Lily's now got amnesia. She was hit by a car. So when Cain saw her again. So we don't know what's happened to her. We don't know whether she faked her own death and like hid for 6 years. We don't know if the accident that she had where she was presumed dead, she then like had amnesia then and just didn't know who she was. So we don't know what happened, but she was basically 6 years ago, she was lost at sea. So we don't know what happened with her. Then there's Amy, who had slept with Cain and is now obsessed with him and married his brother. I'm loving her. She is the worst kind of person and I'm just here for it. We've also got Aaliyah, who is Cain's mother, who is also just the worst kind of person, but more kind of like in a sort of bitchy way, whereas Amy, like for example, there's a bit where 2 people walked out of the office and Amy was like, ugh, they've been married for 4 years and they're still so perfect and so in love. He's probably got a dick the size of my pinky finger. But yeah, no, that's it. I feel better now. And I'm like, yes, girl, you are the worst. You're an awful person, but I love you. You're fab. So yeah, like I said, I'm about halfway through. I am 166 pages through. I'm enjoying it. It's fun. It's probably sat about a 3 star so far because, to be totally honest, there's really no real plot. I don't really understand what any of the characters' motives are other than just general nastiness. Yeah, so I should get that one finished tomorrow. I am going to go to bed now in 5 minutes because, like I said, it's midnight. So I'm going to be finishing this one off tomorrow, and then I've got a couple of romances and 5 Survive, which I want to read tomorrow is the plan. But I'm going to log off now. Little Bracken down here is sleepy. I'm not going to say because she'll run off to bed. She's very good at that. But we're having snuggles right now, aren't we, baby girl? Oops, my bogies. So yes, I will see you in the morning. And we'll carry on reading my smut. Good night. Good morning. It is 9:15 in the morning. Bracken has eaten her breakfast. She's over there. So I need to take her out for a walk. I need to go into town because I've got a couple of things I need to buy. I need to buy cat food and I need to buy fertiliser for my garden. Very exciting. I'm an adult. But I'm currently drinking my cup of tea and I'm going to read for like 15 minutes or so before I take little miss out for her morning walk. I might take her into town with me and kill two birds with one stone because she's allowed to go into Wilco, which is where I'm going. Might do that. That might make sense. Then that's just a little bit easier. I don't need to. I can then basically come back and read for longer. So yeah, I'm going to do about 15 minutes of reading now, take Bracken out, and then going to be back here on my sofa for the rest of the day. I'm going to pick up So Close again now, and that one I've got about 200 pages left in this one, so I should have that one done in the next it's a very quick read, so I feel like I should probably get that read in about the next, probably going to take me about 3 hours. Hello, good girl. Bracken, hey. Good girl. So yeah, it's probably going to take me about 3 hours to finish off So Close. I'm then going to go on to 5 Survive, and then my romances, which I really do need to read. So I have got 15.5 hours left on my timer to get my 24 hours of reading. I feel like today I can probably get a good 12 hours in. Actually, I won't. I'm probably going to be reading up until about 9 p.m. So that's probably going to be, because it's 9 a.m. at the moment, that's probably going to be about 10 hours of reading once I've taken out time to like go into town, walk the dog, eat, do all of those other bits where I'm not reading. But then that will leave me about 5 hours to get done before 1 p.m. tomorrow. We might be on track to be able to complete this, again, quite ridiculous task I've set myself. But I'm going to have a cup of tea, sort this out, and we'll probably get back to you when I have read a bit more of So. Hello. It is now 1:45 and I am 12 hours through my 24-hour in 48-hour readathon. Yay! I'm halfway through. I'm also this close to the end of So Close. I think I've got 60 pages left. I'm not entirely sure I can tell you what it's about because I'm not entirely sure I know what it's about. So, like I said earlier, we've got our main character is Lily, who's kind of returned from the dead. She's presumed dead and she's just sort of appeared back in everyone's life. We're then finding out that she might be a con woman, or that she's had other aliases, but I don't really understand how all the rest of the characters tie in, other than like just they are there as side characters that have nothing to do with the plot. Yeah, so to be honest, I'm not, even though I'm like 300 pages into this 375 page book, I'm not certain I know what the plot is. So that does mean that I'm not enjoying it a huge amount. I am enjoying it. It's probably sat at about a 3 star for me so far. I feel like the writing is fine. It's not mind-blowing. The smutty scenes are good, but again, I don't feel connected to the characters, so I don't really care about their sex scenes. Yeah, I'm going to just finish it off and then I'll give you some more thoughts once I finish that in hopefully about half an hour. Hello, I have just finished reading So Close by Sylvia Day. I don't really know what I read. I can't tell you the plot because I don't think there was one. There seem to be lots of plot lines that are completely disjointed, and it's one of those where, like I was saying earlier, I don't know how the characters' own story arcs interact. I feel like this is mid-series. If this was a mid-series book, I would be a bit more like, okay, I know what that means. But as far as I'm aware, it isn't. I think it's I think from according to Goodreads, it's like book one in a new series. But it's very confusing. We've got Lily, who has been declared dead for 6 years and kind of appears back. She is apparently scared of Kane, her husband, but then they are like happily ever after, and it's never discussed why was she scared when she first saw him. Why did she fake her own death, if she faked her own death? That's never brought up or discussed or even mentioned. We've then got Alaya, who's Kane's mother, who seems to just be intent on breaking up Lily and Kane for no other reason than, I don't really know. She's jealous. Don't really know her motives. Then we've got Amy, who is Kane's sister-in-law, who is also jealous of Lily, but that's because she fancies Kane. But I'm still like, well, I don't understand what her plotline is, where it comes in, how it all fits together. Then we've got the plotline of Lily is potentially a con artist. Yeah, basically there's all of these like seems to be completely separate storylines and character arcs, none of which intersect. I can't work out what the overarching story arc is, and I don't think I enjoyed it. Yeah, I'm gonna co-pile it, but I think we're probably looking at about a 2-star for So Close, unfortunately. Yeah, I don't think I enjoyed it at all. That's disappointing. Right, well, I might actually now, it's, what time is it? It is 10 to 3 and I've got 11 hours left of my 24-hour challenge. I haven't had any lunch yet, so I might stop now and eat lunch. Maybe then compile the last couple of books that I've read, write some reviews, do all of that kind of stuff. And then at sort of 4ish, come back and start reading 5 Survive by Holly Jackson. I have just thrown that on myself. I'm a little bit nervous about 5 Survive. I adore the Good Girls Guide to Murder series, so I have high hopes for this one. However, I've also heard very mixed reviews. So I'm hoping that I enjoy it because I feel like it should be really good. I do want to just binge it. I do want to just kind of get through it because I've heard it's a lot better if you binge it. So yeah, this is going to be my next read and I am slightly apprehensive but excited. But I'm gonna go. Hello, it is now 7 p.m. I have got 8 hours left to try and finish my 24 hours. I am this far through 5 Survive. Right, I'll be totally honest. My issue with Five Survive so far is A, it's based in America, and I just feel like there's some bits that just, I don't know, feel a little bit weird. And B, and maybe this is just me being really old, but the ridiculousness of these kids is just kind of like, what are you doing? Basically, they were driving to a campsite and they got lost because they lost cell signal. Not a single one of them had the map on and could go, oh, okay, then, yeah, well, we need to turn right down that road, because they didn't know where they were on the map because the blue dot wasn't moving. I'm like, well, the blue dot you won't have moved very much further than when you lost signal. And also, what? Like, surely you can find a direction to a campsite that's like 5 miles away from where you currently are when the route is plotted out for you. Like, yeah, anyway, that's just, and again, like I said, that's possibly just me being very, very old. It's okay. I also started this, that's just me being a bit weird with that one, but I'm not enjoying this. I'm going to give it 100 pages, then I will potentially DNF it. I'm not liking the characters. I'm not liking the plot. It is the third in the series, but apparently they're all like standalones in the series. I don't know what happened in book 1 and 2, whether they follow the same characters or whether it's just different characters in the same world or what it is, but I'm not enjoying this. I will give it a fair shot though. 5 Survive as well. I will more than likely finish this one. At the moment, it's a question mark. I'm not having a good time, am I? I mean, the Gilded Cage was good, but like I said, I've got 8 hours left. I am going to go and put on a hair mask and probably a face mask as well, and then have a bath later because I want to, and my hair just feels gross. My internet has decided just to drop out and just die on me, so that's really annoying. Yeah, so I'm probably just going to have a chilled evening. I mean, let's be honest, I'm going to just carry on reading because I don't have like a working TV. I stream everything. So when my internet decides it's not playing ball, I have no TV either. So yeah, I think I'm going to read for a couple more hours, see where we're going. I'm going to have a bath and then, don't know what I'll do this evening, to be honest. Probably read. But I will catch up with you later. Holly Jackson's done it again. This is really fucking good. Really fucking good. I am slightly crying. Also, please ignore my hair. I have got hair oil, doing a hair mask, which is why I literally look like an oil slick. But this is really good. So there were, obviously it's like a YA thriller, I suppose. There were a couple of twists. The first one I felt was quite obvious. I guessed that. The kind of, I guess the main twist I didn't see coming. And then there's a third twist as well, which I didn't see coming either. Really good. It's one of the, do you know what, it's really difficult because there's a lot I want to say, but I also am worried that everything I want to say is potentially a spoiler. But this was really good. So there's character, like the characters I thought were fantastic. Oliver, hate. What a fucking dick. I felt a lot of sympathy for Red. I liked the other characters. I'd be interested to hear an American's perspective because I feel like the characters all sound very British. Just in the way of like some of their jokes and the way they're acting and the words they're using, to me sounds very British. And I know obviously Holly is a British author. So I'd be interested to hear an American's perception on that, but that doesn't obviously impact my enjoyment at all. I mean, I've read this in like 4 or 5 hours. It's been fantastic. I don't really know what to say, to be honest. This is really good. It's fast paced. I recommend, and I agree with what other people have said. If you can read this in one sitting, read this in one sitting. I think if you stretch it out too long, it's not going to be so great. But I really enjoyed it. I'm quite shook. I am now, however, going to go and have a shower and wash the oil out of my hair. It is currently 9:30 and I have got 5 hours left on my clock. I want to get my 24 hours done by 1 p.m. tomorrow. What I might do is go and have a shower and then go and read for like an hour or two in bed and then leave myself 3 or 4 hours tomorrow. Just because my sort of thought is by the time I get up, walk the dog and do all of that kind of, yes, hello, I'm talking about you, Bracken. Hello, baby. Bracken's had a sore tummy tonight. Oh, hello, big bum. Hello, biggest. Hey, biggest girl. But yes, my thought is by the time I've got up, walked the dog, done everything else I want to do, it'll probably be about 9-10 o'clock. And that won't give me 5 hours to finish reading. And I don't really want to get up at like 7 a.m. on a Sunday because I don't want to. Hi, Bracken. Oh, hello. Hi. Baby, Bracken, you don't fit there. Anyway. Seriously, dogs. Right, can you get off me, please? All the way off me, thank you. Bracken, no. Well, at least sit down if you're going to clamber on top of me. Yeah, people wonder why she sits on top of me and all of this when I, clearly allow her to be this, to do this. Hey, you're not meant to be on top of me like this. You don't fit. Anyway, I'm going to go and have a shower. I'm going to go to bed. This one's going to bed. Back in bedtime. Good girl. It's the magic words. And I will speak to you. I probably won't speak to you tonight. So I'll speak to you in the morning. Good morning. It is Sunday morning. It's currently 9:45 and I have got 3 hours 15 left on my timer, which means that if I read non-stop for those 3 hours 15, I will have done my 24 hours and 48 hours because I'll have my alarm, my 24 hours will finish at 1 p.m, which is when my 48 hours are up. All of the maths here. However, I'm still reading The Secret Service of Tea and Treason. I am further in. I'm now 120 pages in. And I think I'm going to carry on reading it. But I'm actually going to get ready while I'm talking. But while I am going to continue reading, it's just not really a book that I'm massively here for. Like it's meant to be a romance. I know it's meant to be a romance because I'm working on it as part of a romance readathon that we're doing. But I can't see how there's going to be any romance included unless it is one where the romance is literally one where it's like I mean they've kissed, but the kiss was a kiss on the cheek, and that was a very risque. They have just spent the night together, they're pretending to be husband and wife. And he has got an erection, but still, like, there's nothing that's sort of suggesting that anything else is going to happen, or that it, like, almost that it could. Like I was saying yesterday, the main character is almost painfully innocent, to the point where it just doesn't actually feel that believable. But yeah, I'm gonna carry on reading it, more because I'm interested to see how it actually can get to the point of it being a romance. Because I just can't see how that's going to happen at the moment. And again, maybe I'm just being a bit... I know not all romances need to have lots and lots of smut in them, but I do feel like there needs to be some sort of affection, or ideally a sex scene, for it to be classed as a romance. This is currently a fake marriage, but still a fake marriage where there's no touching, and neither are inclined to want to touch the other, and not because of a sort of I don't like you, but the main character, the lady Alice, she doesn't like being touched. So it's, you know, it's not even just a they're not touching because they're being professional, or they are pretending that they don't have feelings for each other. So yeah, I'm just a bit... I'm not massively feeling it at the moment. That eyebrow is awful. Well, those eyebrows are completely different lengths, aren't they? It's also chucking it down outside. And while I probably should take a little Miss Bracken out for a walk, I don't want to. Mainly because it's raining, but also, like I said, I've got this 3.5 hours left of reading that I need to do. And the weather's meant to clear up a little bit later, so I think she's gone out and she's done her business in the garden. So that's fine. I can then just take her out on a walk this afternoon. We might, oh balls, go up to the hills or something and actually go on a bit of a longer walk and let her have a bit of a run. But it depends. I don't want to go there if it's raining. So the hills around near me are the Cotswold Hills. No, that's not what they're called. Cleve Hill. And they are kind of, they're like public grounds, it's like moor ground, and it is very nice up there, except when it's raining, because it's obviously at the top of the hill, very exposed. Get lots of rain, lots of wind. If it's cold and miserable down here in town, it is 10 times colder and more miserable on the hill. Right, I've now been joined by a waggly-tailed dog. Hello, Bracken. Did you need to put your nose on the camera? My hair is still looking ridiculous. Bracken, calm down. This is what happens when I sleep on my hair wet. I just get a very poofy head of hair. Right, I've now got a crazy puppy next to me, but I'm going to get back to reading Secret Service. At least while I drink my cup of tea. I feel like... Hi. You're in the way. Yes, you are. I feel like I should be able to finish this one. Bracken. Stop it. Yeah, I've got about 200 pages left. So if I do just read this solidly for the next 3.5 hours, I probably am able to finish it. But I don't know. Anyway, I'll let you know what I'm doing in a minute when this dog stops being insane. to a sex scene. Hey, leave my toast alone. I've got to a sex scene in Secret Service of Tea and Treason. So they exist. I have thoughts. I'm going to carry on reading. But my current thought is, I mean, the sex scene that I've just read, and they didn't actually have sex, but it felt a little bit non-consensual. Little bit uncomfortable. Bit weird. I feel like, go away. The humour is all of this innuendo. So let me just find an example. So we've got here the main character Alice and another maid Veronica, who have seen Daniel with his top off, and they're like, oh, hello. In fact, the maid says, oh, my giddy aunt. Veronica's eyebrows give a suggestive dance. I'll bet that man has a golden gun, if you know what I mean. No, it's metal and balls of steel. Alice felt like she'd fallen entirely off the roller coaster of this conversation. Do you refer to some variation of cricket? Veronica fanned herself with her apron. I wonder if he would shoot me if I asked. Moving on. They left the room. Besides, Alice murmured to Veronica as they waited for Daniel to lock the door, gold is too soft for a gun. It would explode in your hand as soon as you pumped the trigger. The maid choked and laughed. I didn't know you had a ribald sense of humour, Agent A. And it's those sort of innuendos that happen throughout, and that's just not a sense of humour that I find funny, which I think is actually my main problem with this book so far. So it is now 10:49. I've got 2 hours, 10 minutes left. Bracken has a squeaky toy, which is clearly the most fun thing that she has found ever. But I'm going to carry on reading this one for the next 2 hours. Eat my toast before Bracken gets to it, and I'll let you know my thoughts in a bit. Hello, it is currently 12:47. I have got 12 minutes, can't work out maths, left on my timer. I'm calling it, guys, I'm done. I finished the Secret Service of Tea and Treason. I don't really know what I thought of this one, I'll be totally honest. It wasn't a fave. It's not awkward Victorian writing style. I found the sex scenes to feel quite non-consensual. As an example, let me see if I can find the example that I'm looking for. But like the first time that they tried to do bits, like he sort of says something like, well, are you ready for an advanced marital move? And she says, oh yes, well of course I will do whatever it takes to make sure that I am good in my marital whatever. It's really awkward. And then he just proceeds to start fingering her, and it's like, no, you could have actually, she wasn't aware of what you were wanting to do, which means you have not got consent. So you need to actually explain what it is that you're doing so that you can have informed consent. And that, to me, like I said, that is where, to me, it felt non-consensual. And then there's a lot of talk of childhood trauma, which I don't know if I don't feel like the childhood trauma was handled very well. Yeah, this one, interesting. It's finished anyway. I'm not going to pick up another book when I've got less than 10 minutes left on my challenge. I'm just calling my challenge done. I have read for 23 hours and 50 minutes in the last 48 hours. So I'm calling that 24 in 48. I'm calling it done. What I'm going to do is go through and rate my books, actually maybe write a few reviews, just kind of get my thoughts in place, and then we'll come back and do my final thoughts and wrap this vlog up in just a minute. Well, in probably about an hour or so, but it'll be just a minute. Hello. So I thought I would jump in and give you my thoughts and a bit of a wrap up on what I've read this weekend in these last 24 hours. I'm a little bit sweaty. I've just taken Bracken for a walk and it's raining, but also quite warm out. So that kind of really awkward weather where you're like, I need a coat because it's raining, but as soon as I put a coat on, I'm sweating. Anyway, I read 4 books over this weekend. So I read The Gilded Cage by Lynette Noni. This one I really enjoyed. I gave this one 4.5 stars. This series I have really enjoyed so far. This is book 2 in the Prison Healer series. We follow, oh my gosh, I can't remember her name, Kiva. We follow Kiva, who in book 1 was a prisoner in this very famous death camp called Salendov. Yeah. She was the prison healer, where she basically worked in the prison hospital, tried to keep some of the prisoners alive. She met j.ayre, who is the crown prince. He came into the prison undercover to try and work out if there were, I think it was to kind of see if there was like a rebel uprising or something happening. But she ended up having to battle in this trial of ordeals, which was against all of the magic in the world, the different types of magic. It's elemental magic in this world, which I really enjoy. And the two of them end up escaping, and in this one they are back in the main city. j.ayre is basically back being a prince again, and she's living in the palace. I loved this. I thought it was so good. The writing is fantastic. The characters are really good. The romance plotline doesn't take away from the fantasy plotline, and I loved it. Highly recommend this series. I think it is very underrated. The next book I read was So Close by Sylvia Day. I gave this one 2 stars. Okay. Hi Bella. I'm trying to think of something positive about it. This book, I felt like this book, it read like it was the middle of a series. And it says it's book 1 in a new series. I know that Sylvia Day has a very extensive back catalogue, so I don't know if the characters in this one are characters who have been in previous series and this is just a new, maybe following like a new brother or something. I don't know. I don't know if it says anything like that in here. Don't know, she seems to write a bit of everything. But like I said, this felt like it's the middle of the series. We've got our 4 main characters and they all have their own individual character plot lines, none of which felt fleshed out enough for me to think, you know, for me to kind of really get on board with them. And there wasn't an overarching story arc of the book. So I just didn't understand a lot of it. As an example, the most fleshed out character plot line, I would say, was Amy's. So she fancies her brother-in-law, which is Cain. She hates her mother-in-law, which is Aaliyah. And she wants to get her company back. We know that, and that, like I said, is the most fleshed out plotline of the whole book. I know that, yes, okay, she slept with Cain once and it was really good sex, but other than that, I don't know why she's obsessed with him. I get Aaliyah's just not a very nice person, but she hates her, you know, to the extreme level. And it's like, well, why haven't you ever done anything about this? You've been married for like however many, 5-6 years, and you've never only now just realised that you hate your mother-in-law. And yeah, trying to get back her company. Well, she's not been in the office for 3 years or something like that, or like, I think she's not been in the office for like 18 months or 2 years. Well, you're not trying that hard to get back your company then, are you? And that was, like I said, that was the most fleshed out plot line in my opinion, and I just still didn't understand the point of it, and it didn't seem, what didn't seem to be anything that connected the four storylines, which for me was just the main issue. I couldn't connect to any of the characters, I couldn't connect to any of their motives, I didn't understand what the plot was, and that just meant that even the smutty scenes just didn't hit, because I was like, I'm just not interested actually. I'm just not invested in these characters. So unfortunately, it was 2 stars for So Close. I then read Five Survive by Holly Jackson. Gave this book 5 stars. I loved it. It's so good. I do highly recommend binge reading this one. Read it in one sitting if you can. I would say read it over a weekend if you can't do it in one sitting, but binge read it. Its intrigue and its pacing is so fast. I think you need that binge read to really be invested. I feel like because it is so fast paced, that if you stop and put it down and come back to it a couple of days later, or just like read a chapter a night, you're not going to enjoy that fast pace. It's going to just feel a little bit more confusing. But yes, absolutely adored this one. We follow 6 characters. They are on spring break. They are in an RV driving down to Florida or something. They get lost and then they get a flat tire. They change that tyre and then suddenly all of their tyres are shot out and their gas tank is shot. They get given this walkie-talkie appears on the RV, and they're speaking then to this person who says, I've got a sniper, I know who you are, I need your secret. So the whole thing is told over a course of 8 hours. And what I really like is, while there are chapter headings, there's also these breaks, these hourly breaks. And I just really enjoyed, basically seeing the characters first of all trying to come up with different escape plans, working out what to do, and then finally deciding who's got the secret and what to do once you know who's got the secret, because basically they know that whoever has this secret, they are sending them to their death. That sniper is going to kill that person with that secret. So it's so good. It was so good. I was absolutely enthralled, and yeah, I just loved it. Another fantastic book by Holly Jackson. Really, really great. And then finally, the last book I read was The Secret Service of Tea and Treason by India Holton. This is a book I'm being paid to work on, so I'm not going to go into a huge amount of depth on this one. This is the 3rd in a series, and I haven't read books 1 or 2, but they are meant to be read as like companion novels. We're following Alice and Daniel, who are 2 spies, and they are put on assignment together to infiltrate this group of pirates to find out who is plotting to kill the Queen. The writing style in this one was very mock Victorian, and it wasn't a writing style that I really clicked with. Also, there was a lot of humour in here, which was innuendo-based humour, which again wasn't something that I particularly clicked with and enjoyed. I can see why people do enjoy this series. It's a historical romance. There was a lot of fun. There was magic that I wasn't expecting. It's fast-paced. It's exciting. It reads, actually, if we ignore the romance, it reads quite young, as a sort of kind of like quite on to the next one, and you know, like all of these fights where actually no one gets hurt. But then there are some smutty scenes. Not really graphic smutty scenes. I would say this would be suitable for YA. I think possibly like older YA, like sort of 16. But I don't think the sex scenes are graphic enough to be completely adult. But likewise, you know, it is a romance. Yeah, I can see why people enjoy it. This just wasn't my kind of writing style. For me, I just, like I said, just didn't connect with the writing style, didn't connect with the humour. So it just wasn't one that I really enjoyed that much. But that was my 24 in 48 hours reading vlog. I'm impressed that I got read these 4 books. It's quite, I don't know how many pages that is, but it's over 1,000 pages because they're all about 300-page books. I also feel like, yes, I had 2 high ratings, and yes, I had, you know, like a dud, but I think it was actually quite an enjoyable weekend. I'm probably not going to do that again for a while because I am quite tired and quite read out. I don't know if that's a word, if that makes sense. But I enjoyed it. I'm happy that I have now ended April on a good bang. But that was it. If you enjoyed this vlog, please do let me know down in the comments. If you've read any of the books that I've read, let me know your thoughts on them. And if there's any books that you would like to recommend me to read as well, pop them down in the comments. If you've made it this far and you just want to leave me an emoji, leave me a flower, because this book has got lots of flowers on it. And if you want to connect with me on any other platforms, my information is down below. I'd love it if you could give this video a like if you liked it, subscribe if you would like to, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.